Hey guys, I want to talk about ministry transitions today. There's a great passage that we'll look at talking about how God transitions his ministry from one man to another. Listen on in.
Welcome to Everyday Truth with Kurt Skelly. We believe the Bible is true and relevant to everyone, everywhere, every day. If today's conversation is a help to you, take a moment to leave a review or share it with a friend. Thanks for listening. Now, let's join Kurt for today's episode.
Hey there, my friends. Welcome back. We're in 2 Kings chapter 2 today. Forgive me for my grovelly voice. I'm coming down with a little bit of something. It's nothing really, but it's affecting my voice. Makes me sound like I'm a smoker, but I'm not. So forgive me for my voice today. Hey, I did want to just update you a little bit about my own personal ministry. So I think some of you know that this month of June is my final month pastoring. Hard to believe. We've been in a 3-year transition here at Faith Baptist, and just so glad to have Josh Venable stepping into the senior pastorate role here at Faith Baptist. We've been working together, co-pastoring for just the past couple of years, but now he'll take the reins, and just really excited about all that God is doing here at Faith. God's given us a miraculous year, really, of growth and health. It's been wonderful. And I have every expectation that God will use Josh to just take it to the next level, and really excited about that. Pray for me. I'll be moving into more itinerant ministry, traveling every week, as I already do. Really, during the week, I've been gone now for 1 or 2 days a week for the last 30 years, ministering to various churches and ministries around the world. But come July, I'll be in a different church every single weekend, Lord willing, just trying to be a blessing. I really want to champion the idea of healthy church to churches wherever I go. So would you pray about that? It's a step of faith for our family, and we're just trusting that the Lord's going to meet the need. And that's it. So I'd love to keep you posted, by the way, about all of that. I'll try to do that from time to time, even on the podcast. But if you would like for me to send you a monthly update, which I'll be sending to many people, you're welcome to join that list. All you have to do is just send me your email address. You can email me at Kurt, K-U-R-T, Skelly @gmail.com, kurt.skelly@gmail.com, and simply say in the subject line, monthly update, and I'll be happy to add you to the list and let you know what the Lord's doing in and through the ministry, and we'd love to have your prayer support for all of that. The reason I'm bringing all of that up today is because the lesson today is a lesson about transition, how God uses faithful people and then brings them home or moves them on and then puts other faithful people in their place. It's just the way that God works, and we find that to be true in the ministry of Elijah and Elisha. And I want you to see that in verse number 1 of 2 Kings chapter 2, where the Bible says, "And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal." So the story is introduced in verse 1. God is ready to take Elijah home. Now, I don't think in my personal life that I'm ready to go home. And I don't think God's taking me home unless God told me something different and I missed it. But obviously, God is transitioning this ministry. Now, as we have already learned, Elisha has been following Elijah for some time. Some scholars believe it's about 10 years that they've been serving together, where Elijah has had the more public role, the more active prophetic role, and Elisha has been a servant of Elijah's. But now we're going to see that role transform, where Elijah is going to leave the scene, leave the ministry in that sense, and Elisha is going to take over. So that's the context. Verse number 2, and Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here. So they're at Gilgal. Tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. What we're going to find in chapter 2 is a series of tests that God, through Elijah, puts Elisha through. And the test is, Elisha, are you going to stick with it? Are you going to stay till the end? Are you going to complete this mentorship that I have assigned to you? Because Elijah is going to suggest to Elisha, you don't need to come any further. You don't need to come. But what do they both know? They both know that God is going to take Elijah home, and at that point, his power will rest upon Elisha. And Elisha is saying, no, I am not going to miss this. I've come this far. I've been this faithful. I'm going to finish strong. And that would be a good piece of advice for us to give ourselves. And that is not resting on past faithfulness, not allowing ourselves to get to the place where we just kind of say, okay, enough is enough. No, in ministry, we want to persevere. We want to keep on keeping on. And that's what Elisha is doing. So think about it. They're at Gilgal, a very strategic place in Israel's history, because it was at Gilgal that they first set their encampment after they crossed into the promised land, crossing Jordan River. Now they go to Bethel, and of course Bethel is important because that's where God what's the word I'm looking for? He reaffirmed the Abrahamic covenant to Abram. After Lot had chosen the well-watered plains toward Sodom, it was at Bethel that God reaffirmed the covenant to Abraham. This belongs to you. And it was at Bethel that Jacob saw that ladder. Remember Jacob's ladder? And God reaffirmed the covenant to Jacob, Abraham's grandson. And it was at Bethel that Jeroboam, the first king of the divided northern kingdom, had set up that false worship. So at this point in Bible history, when they're going to Bethel, it's a place that is known for its idolatry. Remember when the prophet spoke against Jeroboam there at that altar in Bethel? Look at verse 3. So the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. So even those that claim to follow the Lord who were at Bethel seemed to have a bit of an attitude. It seemed as if they were rubbing salt in the wound, the emotional wound of Elisha, and saying, don't you know you won't have Elijah anymore? You won't be a special servant anymore. Elijah's leaving today. Don't you know that? And Elisha says, listen, be quiet. I know. So sometimes even other followers of God can be a nettlesome weight in our life, can be a prickly bear in our side, a prickly pear in our side. And that's what's happening here. Look at verse 4. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here. So there's the second test. I pray thee, for the Lord had sent me to Jericho. And he said, Elisha, as the Lord liveth, as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho, both of them. So we find they go from Gilgal, now to Bethel, now to Jericho. Is it not interesting that Elijah is choosing these really strategic places in Israel's history, almost as if to say to Elisha, let's take a little walk down memory lane. Let's look at the place where God led them across the Jordan River. Let's look at the place where God confirmed the covenant that this land belongs to God's people. Let's go back to Jericho, the site of the greatest battle, where God affirmed that this land did indeed belong to them. So the Bible says they come to Jericho, and the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? See, that was well known. that Elijah was going to be transported to heaven. Everyone knew this was leaving day. And it seems as if the prophets of Jericho, like the prophets of Bethel, are rubbing this in to in Elisha's life to his emotional hurt. He said, I know it. Hold ye your peace. Be quiet. And Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee here, for the Lord hath sent me to Jordan. Well, right back to Jordan River. That's where they started from. And he said, as the Lord liveth, as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they too went on. So 3 separate times, Elisha is tempted to not follow through, to persevere. Now, here's what's very interesting. It was in that same region by Jericho, in that same Judean wilderness, where Jesus was tempted 3 separate times, or to step away from his calling, from his mission. And so here, Elisha is a great picture of the perseverance that is ultimately fulfilled in Jesus. Verse number 7, and 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by Jordan. So get the picture. They all know something big is going to happen. They've all encouraged Elisha, just, know that your master is going to be taken today. Elijah has tested Elisha. Stay here, stay here, stay here. But so far, they've stayed together. Now, everyone has this sense of expectancy. Something big is about to happen. Verse 8, Elijah took his mantle, that would be his outer coat. He wrapped it together. He smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. This is a reenactment of the miracle of the entering of the land. It's almost as if Elijah is showing through all of these visits, and now through this miracle, he's showing Elisha that same God that led us here, that same God that gave us promises, that same God that gave these great victories, that same God that parted this river, that's the God I serve, and that's the God you will serve as well, Elisha. What an amazing day this has turned out to be for Elisha, an amazing day as Elijah parts the Jordan River. And it says in verse number 9, and it came to pass when they were gone over that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee. Now, interesting, because had Elisha left, had Elisha not passed the test, he would never have had this opportunity to ask for what he wanted. He would never have seen this miracle, the miracle of the parting of the sea. He would have missed all of it. So now ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. Now, here's what Elisha was not asking for. Elisha was not saying, I want double of everything you've had. No, the term double portion referred to the primary inheritor. So in a large family, the eldest son typically would receive a double portion. So he gets the right to inherit the family's name and the patriarchy, the priesthood responsibility, and double what the other inheritors would get. In other words, what Elisha is basically saying here is, Elijah, I want to take your place. I want to carry on your ministry that God has given you. And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Okay, Elisha, this is something you'll receive if you keep watching, you keep following, you stay faithful to the end. And the Bible says, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked. So Elisha said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave him. And they went on, they talked. Behold, there appeared a chariot of fire. Can you hear the music in the background? Chariots of fire. And there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Now, I'm not leaving Faith Baptist Church in a whirlwind. I'll probably just get in the Honda Pilot and drive away. But God was done with Elijah in this space, in this place, for this season. Every single servant of God has a shelf life, but the will of God and the plan of God and the purpose of God know no shelf life. Because where Elijah's ministry ended, Elisha's ministry began, and the kingdom marched on. And that's a wonderful thought for all of us, isn't it? So we'll stop right there in verse number 11. We'll jump into verse 12 next episode. I do hope you'll join us for that. Until then, God bless you, my friends.